Listeners, Season 3, Episode 7, if you are looking to get into the home flipping industry, the distressed properties, the renovations, this is an episode you do not want to miss. We have Gene Martin here who will be coming on talking about their business, the growth they've seen the last 2 years since he has been on last. They have made some excellent strides in this industry, and you do not want to miss his experience he's about to talk about on this episode. We're live now. Thanks for listening. And we are back, Season 3, Episode 7. And if you are looking to get into the Airbnb space, the home flipping space, if you want to know a little bit how private lending works, you know, getting some loans that you don't see advertised by the big banks, seeing how to use other people's money to achieve your goals, we've got a return guest on the show today, Gene Martin. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you this morning?
Good. Roommate.
Yeah.
Building roommate.
Building roommate. That's
Office
right.
roommates. What do they? Is there a word for that?
Oh, I don't know if there is.
An office roommate. Maybe roommate.
We're gonna have to figure that one out.
Or was it? Yeah, because roommate, our residential office. No, I'm not gonna say roommate.
No. Oh,
Commercial.
and we got the new signs up, so it's all official now too.
We're very official.
We got everybody sign up, so everybody knows now. Because for a while they were just naming. They're like, "Oh, you're in the building with the Workhorse Real Estate thing." And I'm like, "Yes, our sign's coming soon. I swear."
And we got two. We got you and Vance. We're gonna see Vance later today for a project.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So we got a lot of things going on.
I love it.
Well, tell me this, Gene. So last time we spoke, you were here with Andrew, still your business partner, and y'all were crushing it then. Y'all had 5 or 6 Airbnbs then.
Mm-hmm.
I think y'all have a few more now.
Yep.
Got a few more now, and y'all been doing some really big things in the home renovation space.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, man. So,
I mean, first, I'm sorry. Who are you?
who am I?
Not everyone might know who you are.
Yeah, good question. So I'm Gene Martin. Been here in the CSRA since 2019, so I'm creeping on 7 years now here. Came from a background of customer service, grew up in the low country of South Carolina. Customer service, did food and bev industry. So bartended, served, did all that for a long time. So that's kind of where I love helping people. So that kind of helped translate. I went back to school for a finance degree, was going to get into that, and had a friend of mine that talked me into working for a wholesale company in Charleston. Worked out well, learned a ton, not my huge cup of tea on doing that kind of business, but it exposed me to everything, made me realize how much I wanted to help people on that side of things. Yeah, moved here 7 years ago, been flipping either by myself or with a business partner. So in my own LLC now for 6 years. And yeah, that's kind of my little quick backstory. And then we've just, like you said, me and Andrew were here not that long, a couple years ago. We've added a few more Airbnbs, and we are really big on the flipping side now, continuing to grow that.
Love it. I love it. So, we've had 2 years since you've last been on the show.
Yep.
I know what you've been doing, but I don't think everybody knows what else you're doing. So, so you're big on the flipping side. So, like, what is let's just act like we're talking to some 5th graders here, right?
Yeah.
What is a flip?
Yeah. So, we've dug in more on the flip side. So flip is just, trying to find a property that we can buy that needs some love, needs some good renovations to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we get in there and decide what we think the best strategy for that particular property is. Not get too deep into it, but, lower price point property, we want to make those just safe and functional and good for a starter family. Higher priced house, we're going in and we're fully redesigning those and putting custom stuff in. But yeah, it's just really finding a house that is ready to be brought up to today's standards.
Okay.
And going in there and getting our crews in and renovating them to make them pretty again. making them nice and HGTV ready. And because I think everybody said that there's the fifth grader part. Like, I think everybody understands that, that piece. And yeah, get them back on the market and hopefully ready for a good new family.
If I own a home and I'm going, should I sell to you?
Mhm.
How might I go about maybe pre-qualifying myself? How do I know when I might have a property that you'd be a perfect buyer for?
So there's a couple different pieces on that. And so number one, I mean, just the first qualification is just going to be, does the house actually need any work? The houses, we walk them all the time, unfortunately. And well, you get the blessing of that too. Like, we walk houses that are too nice. I mean, they don't need that much work. And, that just doesn't work for us. Doesn't work for most investors unless they're trying to buy a turnkey rental or something. So that's the number one qualifier. And then from there, I tell people all the time, we're still only the right answer for probably 10% of even the ones that do need work. Because it's really about how much work it needs. Then it's your circumstances of whether you have the money that you want to put in it, and do you have the time and effort that you want to put into it. Okay. So we're a great buyer for someone who is just ready to be done with something. They don't feel like spending the $50,000 that needs to go into it, or on a time sensitive thing. Have a lot of people come to us, tired landlords, tenants just moved out, houses are messed up, inherited a house, they don't even live here. Things of that sort is kind of the bigger pressing points.
Okay. So let's role play a little bit. So you reach out to me, I own a home and it's messed up.
Yep.
Right. I've got some disposable income. Well, gee, I really appreciate you calling me. And I know my house is pretty in pretty rough shape right now, but I think I could really just fix this up myself and sell it myself for what you would sell it for.
Yeah.
Why might I not want to do that?
So this is where we've gotten even better and better over the last 2 years of really guiding people through whether it makes sense. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, why are you talking to me in the first place? Well, why aren't you already doing that?
I'm exploring my options.
Yeah. So then you're exploring your options. And if you're exploring your options, really the only downsides to that are going to be the time, of course. I mean, no matter which way you shake it, no matter if you know a contractor, whatever, like, there's the months of renovation before you even get it listed on the market. So it can be a time issue. So that could be one reason you choose that. Another is a lot of homeowners do not, unless they're plugged in already on the real estate side, they don't realize how much work it's going to take. They think they're going to be able to get something done for 30. It's actually going to be $50,000. So it's really making sure they understand how much work they've got to put in it. If they still say, nope, I've already gotten a contractor quote, I know exactly how much it's going to cost, then I just, I tell them, kind of make sure that you really trust that person, think they're going to hit their numbers. Because that comes up a lot. People go over budget all the time. So kind of look at that and then make sure that they do truly know all their numbers. Like, know that they're still going to be paying their taxes and insurance and things along the way. If they have a mortgage, they're going to be paying the mortgage along the way. And then realizing that you're still going to be paying an agent on the back end when you get it listed, and just making sure you truly understand that number. I mean, I actually like for people to know, I mean, of course, without certainty, but roughly like how much more money they could make if they just did it themselves. Okay. And then you get to decide. I mean, that's what I like being able to do, give everybody all the information. Then they can decide, like, hey, is this worth this extra X amount of money for me to work for the next 3 or 4 months and deal with this?
Let me ask you this. You have just seen more and more situations with different homes. And, I think in my experience, when I see people going through this process, it is the contractors. It's the people doing the actual work, because a lot of the times, I mean, you're not exactly in there with the hammer and chisel.
No.
It's not the highest and best use of your time.
Nope.
Right? You're not going to do a great job, and you're probably going to screw something up yourself. So, so you've got to have some guys that you really trust. You've got to have a crew of people that can get into a home and do what you need to do. And you're talking about budgets, right? It's a really tough situation. Someone tells you it's going to cost 30 grand. You maybe may even sign a quote or an estimate, right? And they get in there and they say, hey, well, we found so and such and such and such, and now we're talking another $10,000-$15,000, right? And it's an uncomfortable situation because you spend a lot of time and money and making real investments based on that original number. Now that expectation has changed, right? Who's at fault here, right? Who's at fault here? Who should ultimately be responsible for ponying up that bill? The work's got to get done. Your contractor may not have the resources to eat his own mistakes. Right?
That's correct.
So now you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. The contractor's stuck in a rock and a hard place. So I mean, sometimes some situations, maybe give an example. How do you see that?
So for us, honestly, at the end of the day, for us personally, that is why we're taking this risk on. And that's why we buy the properties at the prices we do. And that's something I unfortunately think a lot of homeowners don't understand. Because I'll talk about it from both directions. If you're a personal homeowner, like you said, had the quote stuff, they found something along the way. I mean, you only have the options to either pony it up yourself or try to negotiate with the contractor. But there are things that they truly could not have found in their walkthrough. So you got to really, there's some discernment there. If all of a sudden the guy gets in and he's still only doing the scope that y'all talked about, and all of a sudden his bid is coming in, all of a sudden he wants 35 now instead of 30, like that's not okay. But if he goes to change out, I don't know, the vanity or the kitchen sink or something like that, and all of a sudden realize stuff isn't draining properly, something's happened along with the plumbing or something of that sort that he couldn't have known beforehand. Then you just have to just keep moving on, get the job done. From our side, again, that's why we have to buy the properties where we do, because we know that that's a very big possibility. I mean, we had one recently that this one was a pretty small one, luckily, but like we went to go paint and realized that there had been a leak and it had rotted out, some of the joists behind the wall, had to replace a whole little section of wall. So we try to do what's right. I mean, if we ever find anything along the way, we're gonna fix it. So that was a small one, but like things like that happen. Subfloor issues, things like that are a decent one. Electrical's a pretty big one. And just because, I mean, you can only test it so much when somebody's walking through an hour before we get started on it. So all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're like, oh wait, that switch doesn't work, or
why doesn't it work?
And
then you're pulling wire.
And then who knows?
Double tap breaker.
Yeah, it could just be something simple in the breaker box. I mean, who knows? But so we're just used to it at this point. I've done enough houses. We know stuff's going to come up. I used to be pretty terrible about that, especially like 5 years or so ago when I first got started. I thought, we said we were going to spend $50,000 here. Like it's going to be right around $50,000. And it's just not the case.
No.
You're almost always going to go over a little bit.
Okay. So. Now, something you said there a little bit ago, I picked up on, I want to kind of talk about is, you go to paint the house, right? You go to paint the house and, oh no, some of those studs, some of the joists are rotted out by underneath the sink in the kitchen, or the studs are jacked up. Maybe you got a couple termite tubes or something. Right. You just kind of, as you go. And, something that for the people that follow along, Gene, we highlight him on our marketing a lot. We do a lot of business with him and Andrew. And one of the things I really like to talk to people about is you always ask, how's the builder of the house? Every time. Who's the builder? Oh, were they good? Right. I want to know if the house has good bones. And very rarely do I ever have someone come into a house and they go, that's been flipped, right? Whether it's one of yours or it's someone else in the market. They never say, well, how's that contractor? How's that flipper, right? They have seriously modified this home to be permits.
Oh.
And no one ever asks that question. And, but you know, I always look at your product as a premium product, no matter if it's in Country Club Hills or if it's in, you know, it's in way out in Orangeburg, South Carolina, you know, where it's a mobile home. It's still done very well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, tell me a little bit about that. Tell people about, you know, kind of your philosophy on delivering a good quality product and why you do it.
Yeah. So, I'll talk on why I do that, and then also mistakes I made at the very beginning.
Okay.
So why we do that is going to be because, you know, we just really want to give what's best for the customer on the inside. Of course, we're humans. We mess up sometimes too. They, you know, we have 2 crews in house, which is great. Those guys do fantastic work. But every once in a while, we're busy enough that we're subbing out some other things. So really trying to hone that in, make sure we're doing to the best of our ability. Of course, we've used bad contractors in the past too. That's why I can be honest with homeowners and tell them that, you know, it's possible that they could accidentally get in bed with the wrong contractor that's cutting corners and you don't know about it. It's just an unfortunate part of it. Because, you know, the best that we can do is get an inspection on it.
Right.
And if an inspector also doesn't catch it, then of course, we're not going to have been able to
get it right.
So, you know, that's kind of that piece. The other side, as far as why we do it, is it really matters to me to give somebody a good, safe home on the back end. It helps me sleep at night, knowing that, like, you know, there's not just paint slapped on and just covering things up or not changing out things that need to be changed out. That's the biggest piece to me. Safe and functional. And then, of course, higher end houses. That's what I was going to hit on. Is where I messed up at the beginning is putting too high end of stuff on houses that didn't technically warrant it. I was doing walk-in showers on $180,000 houses in South Augusta.
Right.
Not worth it.
Not worth it.
But
you want it to look nice.
Oh, 100%. You want to make sure it's nice and new. Don't leave old crappy things, but, you know your market.
Right.
So that's a big one that we've learned along the way is when to do higher price things.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. Okay. You hire new contractor A. Okay. And you walk into his finished product. He tells you he's done. House is ready. You walk into the house. What's something? Give us one thing when you see immediate eye roll. Oh gosh, this guy, I gotta get rid of him.
It's a good question. Because we haven't had to deal with it in a long time. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
So that's a blessing. It's unfinished things, actually. It's literally just unfinished things that'll make me realize that, oh man, like what else did they not do? Whether it be a light fixture missing or maybe the vanity's in, but you can tell they didn't caulk around the vanity top. There's still material things laying around different pieces of the house.
Because you may have a lead guy and he's got his subcontractors.
Yep.
Right. You know, a dirty, little secret is, people ask about these builders, and a lot of these guys are running the same crews.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Builder A is running the same exact crews as Builder B and Builder C and Builder D, right? Your general contractor may be running the same subs as 2 other general contractors.
Yep.
But I think it comes down to that GC, that superintendent, the GC, going through the property, getting their own eyes on it. Right. And taking the time to actually get out there and look at the dang thing.
Yeah. I think that's a big piece of it for sure. And basically we are those people now for ours with the flips. We have our in-house crews and then we go in behind them and, make sure it's done right. Luckily our crew leads, they do most of that for us.
Okay.
And we don't have to dig in too terribly deep because they're the ones making sure on the subcontractors. Then we come in and just check on them instead of having to check on every single piece of it. So that's been a huge blessing because when I started, oh man, that last like 10% that I'm talking about, like the last light fixtures, the last hardware on the doors, things like that. Those were the pieces that, I mean, there were times where it would take almost as long to get the last 10% done as it did the first 90%. And if you're using the wrong contract, that's a very telltale sign that you have not used the greatest contractor.
Right there.
Is
that
right there.
10%.
Is if they blow through, getting everything, like you're like, oh man, this thing's almost ready, and you're 3 weeks, 4 weeks in, and you're like all happy and stuff, and then you get them to start on those punch list things, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, it's been 3 weeks again, and it's still not done.
Right.
And that's a pretty telltale sign of people I'm probably not going to use again.
Okay. I like it. Last 2 years, something I've also noticed, because I work across the hall from you. You guys have gone from a, really it's you and Andrew,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now you've got more people in.
Yep.
You got acquisition guys, you've got contractors, you've got Christy, who's great.
Yep.
In the office, you have a small business now.
Yeah, we have. We've grown to a full-on small business. We had a executive assistant. So it was me and Andrew just to start with. Then we did hire an executive assistant for a while, but it was just us three running it for the longest time. We have now grown to bringing in Christy in the office. Also have another girl that's remote that does a lot of the same stuff that the executive assistant was doing before. As far as utilities and all those kinds of things. Brought in the acquisition guy, and we brought in the second crew. Andrew had one crew to start with when we first started doing flips together, so that was great, and we were having to subcontract out anything that guy didn't do. Now we brought in a full second crew with Cedric, so that's been great. Also made a couple other connections with some other crews to fill in the gaps. So yeah, I'll probably hire one more person.
Okay.
And then, oh, that's right. That's the other person we have already hired, actually. What was that? I didn't even think about it. Gee whiz. So Adam's been a blessing.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Shout out Adam.
Shout out to Adam. Yes. He works way more with Andrew. So that's why I was like, wait a second, we do have another person. So he was just, we hired him on as just like what I call a runner. He was just running around, grabbing materials, running and checking on things, all that kind of stuff. Now he has moved over into property or project management.
Okay.
He's actually helping manage the projects fully now.
Okay.
And it's just been an unbelievable blessing. And that goes back to the customer service piece and knowing and loving on people. We got that referral for Adam from the attorney's office we use. His mom worked at the attorney's office.
How about that?
And so, yeah, so it's been...
Who's his mom?
Helen.
Oh, hey, over
Helen at Wright's office is...
Hey, Helen.
It's his mom. So, yeah, so that's been a really big blessing. We may eventually hire one other person.
Okay.
So,
What's been which kind of been, I know you're a small business. What are some things you've really having to start adjusting to? I can tell you mine real quick.
So managing people, I mean, matters for sure, of course. Been for the most part blessed there. I've got to get better more than anything, not the actual people on this piece. I've got to learn how to give more off, because I'm still almost just as involved as I was before, even though we have the acquisition person. He's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but I'm still involved on the houses and walking them and deciding what we're going to buy and not buy. So I've got to lead better and get that on his. So learning leadership more, versus just running and gunning by myself. That's probably the biggest thing that I've learned on that side. Other is, as you have people that you're paying and all of those kinds of things and more properties, because we're flipping at probably at least twice as much as we were 2 years ago, is the cash flow of the business. So actually learning business.
Right. The financials.
The actual financials and learning how cash flow works. And like, it's an interesting, very cash intensive business. It's a business that you can literally look and see that you made money. You like, I know for a fact I made money, but there's still not much money there because, you know, you had carrying costs on your other 4 properties that were going on at that time, had to pay my acquisition guy, had to pay Christy, had to pay Adam, like having to pay all these things. And so that's probably been the biggest, those are the 2 biggest, leadership skills and learning the actual cash flow of the business versus just, oh, there's money in my account. I have money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're going solo. Yeah. I mean, when you're going solo, you just roll with it. You just roll with the punches and you're just like,
No longer 1099.
yeah.
Now you gotta go give people 1099.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's intensive. It's a lot. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
but it's good.
Well, good. And we're enjoying it. We're having fun.
Absolutely.
Yep. We're still trying to figure out our ribbon cutting date. We're working on that.
Yes. Yes, we do need to get that done.
So waiting on one more person. We're gonna have that in April, so we're gonna be talking about it soon. Well, that's awesome, man. It really is. You know, coming from someone who wants to get into let's say someone else wants to kind of get into this flipping space, this wholesale, or just wants to get into like the distressed property industry, right? I think that's a good term for it. The distressed property industry
Yeah, I guess so.
market.
That'll work.
Yeah, don't put a label on it. There's so many different ways you can do it.
Yes, there is.
What's something that, if you could go back a couple of years, like something that you could have just nixed out of your processes? You've really harped on some of the mistakes you've made, but like, is there one thing you think you could have just like adjusted, or something maybe like a big time waster that you were trying to tackle?
Honestly, this is a little bit of a weird one, I guess, but it's when I look back, it was more when I wasn't following my process.
Okay.
It was when I was just trying to make everything work. And that just comes from how I grew up. My mom's a very selfless lady, always giving to people, and I get that from her, and I will accidentally just try to make any property work, even though it wouldn't fit our buy box necessarily. So bought a couple properties in crappier areas and things of that sort. And of course, those can work if you're a seasoned person, and you have different exit strategies. But that's probably my biggest mistake is still trying to flip a house that wasn't really in an area that should be, that we were trying to do that. So that's one of the bigger mistakes I've made along the way.
You just said buy box.
Yes.
Pretend I have no clue what that means. What's buy box?
So, and funny enough, I actually get irritated by that question. So I don't even know why I said it in that way, but I'll explain it anyways. Your buy box is just going to be like what kind of properties you're actually looking for.
Okay.
Making sure you need to know ahead of time, like, are you going to do buy and hold properties? Are you going to flip really nice properties? Or you're going to try to just flip houses in areas for first time home buyers? You really need to know, especially when you're getting started. Like, you 100% need to pick an avatar, for a better word, the kind of person that you're trying to buy properties from. Do you want to buy Section 8 rentals? Do you want to buy turnkey, nice rentals? Do you want to flip in first and second home buyer areas? Or do you want to flip in areas where, people are stepping up? Like they're selling their starter home and moving into the nice home with their kids in a good school district.
Okay.
So that's kind of the buy box in a scenario. Like I said, I joke because I hate that word, because people that are getting into wholesaling and don't know what they're doing,
Right.
that is usually the telltale sign that they don't have anything for me, or they don't know. Is the first question they ask me is, "Hey, what's your buy box?" And I'm just like, well, I've been doing this for a while, so our buy box is pretty big. Please just send me everything, as long as it's not in a area that I'm worried about my crew getting their stuff stolen from them or shot.
Right.
That as long as it's not there, then I'll take a look at everything. So
That's all I've been getting recently. It stinks.
yeah, well, so that's kind of a big thing there for us.
Okay.
And we personally are trying to slowly, we have a big goal as far as how many houses we want to flip. So they're not going to all fit this criteria, unfortunately, and that's why I tell people to still send me everything. But in our perfect world, we're going to start doing, what is our median around here?
3.
It's around 3, right?
Right. 300.
It just depends on the county. It can be a little below 3, a little above 3. We are trying to get above median.
Okay.
Like that would be our perfect scenario. If I could find enough houses to keep our crews busy at $350,000 plus, that would be my perfect buy box, I guess I'll call it.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Do you find the margins are better at those numbers?
The risk is much higher, but if everything goes right, the margins are better.
Margins are better. What's that?
And it's just because you're playing with bigger dollar amounts. You are taking more risk. So of course, and I think most people understand that too. So, and then the other piece is there's more value add to be added there. The $250,000 house, you can only add so much. Maybe you can do extra few things and move it from 250 to 260. Whereas if it's a $600,000 house, people were thinking it's a $600,000 house, you might can do some cool amenities or I don't know, a new walkout patio or
Diving rock at the pool.
There you go.
Hidden bookcase bathroom.
Oh, that one's awesome.
You do those?
Yes, we do. Only in the Airbnbs, but
simulators.
And then oh yeah, that thing's awesome. But big walk-in showers, the custom bathrooms, the things that people aren't going to get out of just turnkey new construction. So the next thing you know, we might can move that property from a $600,000 to a $650,000 property. So I think that's actually where the margins can be made in those bigger properties. But again, much bigger risk. Because what if I put that extra $20,000 in to make that jump and it still only sells for $600?
And you also owe people more money too every month.
A lot more, yeah.
Carrying costs.
They get expensive.
Well, Gene, this has been eye-opening. I'm glad we got you to get back on. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm always rooting for you and the team. I appreciate you coming and checking in with us, man. This has been good. And those for who've been listening, if you haven't learned anything, you need to re-listen because some really good stuff here.
Re-listen, reach out to me. I know
we get in contact with.
I know we weren't able to get more into the actual finding of deals or into the side of where we get the money from, because we do use some of our own money, but we also borrow from other people a lot. So that's a good thing to touch base with me on. The easiest is probably, I'm trying to get off of social media, but it's kind of one of those things. I'm the Investor Gene on Instagram, or just Gene Martin on Facebook. Either one of those, I check those DMs. Actually, funny enough, literally last night, just had somebody reach out in my DMs on Instagram and ask if they could take me to coffee to learn something one day. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's something I want to get back into.
Just a little bit of consulting, a little bit of teaching.
Yeah, and not full on teaching. I do not want to coach or do anything like that. So I apologize for anybody that wants to reach out on full coaching. We're just too busy, to be completely honest.
Yep.
But I do love grabbing a quick 30-minute to an hour coffee. I try to set aside at least 1 to 2 days a week to be able to do that.
I love it. Gene, last question. We'll get out of here. What is your one thing these next 12 months that you were most excited about?
Oh, great question. Really dialing in that leadership side to be able to do more and more things that provide energy for us. And I can speak for Andrew on this a little bit too. So his goal is to get Adam doing more. So he's in the office more. He wants to build out software and AI stuff for us. And then for me personally, I need to get David more in tune, being able to go to these houses, make these offers without as much of my input, so that I can do more of those coffee mornings. I love meeting new people, and just building that out to where it's really ran more like a business instead of a 1 or 2 man show that just happens to have employees. We really need to start. I'm not the whole like I want to step fully out of the business guy, and just let it run by itself. But I do know that for us to grow where we want to grow, that I do have to delegate more to other people. So that's the thing I'm the most excited about is really dialing that in.
I love it. I love it. Man, this has been great. I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.